Okay, I
am too. Hello. You all set?
Good Sunday evening.
Hello. We decided to come at you from the table tonight.
Little bit different view.
Yep. It is still early in the afternoon for us. So crazy because we're in Phoenix this week. So because I'm trying to keep my head in the frame. Because Arizona does not observe daylight savings time, we have gone back another hour just for this week, and then we'll go back to mountain time. So for this week,
Peeps was last week, Jimmy.
Hello to the Barneses and to Matthew and Kendall and to Lori Bargeron. Howdy. So anyway, it's just 5 o'clock out here in Phoenix. And then, like I said, next week we'll change time zones again. My sister joked yesterday and said that we just needed to create a Kilgore Standard Time. And I said that would be easier because we are going to be back and forth for a little while.
Then it would really be hard to be on time for church if we didn't know what time the church was on.
So. But that was one of the things that I thought of too, though. I mean, I said this to when my sister said this. I said, how did we operate and survive? Which, granted, I understand that most people don't change time zones on a weekly basis like we do. But how did we operate before our cell phone just changed for us? I mean, we had to manually go calculate and hand change every clock in our house.
But that's why every church in America still sends out a thing. Hey, don't forget to change your clock, when nobody changes their clock anymore.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, nobody.
But we're all in the habit of reminding people to change their clock.
The microwave's the only thing we have to change, and pretty soon they'll probably have Bluetooth microwaves that change themselves.
Maybe so.
I don't know. Anyway.
Ours changes. That changes every week too, because we have to reset it every time we unplug.
Yep. So then I just leave my phone. But
yeah.
Anyway, hey Teresa. So anyway, we are in sunny, warm Phoenix. This is probably the warmest weather that we've had thus far
in a while.
Okay, I was making sure the girls got tickled.
We just had Caitlin sneeze, and she had a nosebleed earlier, so we gotta keep an eye on her. But I think
she did sneeze. Anyway. This air is so dry out here in Phoenix. Well, not just in Phoenix, though.
Albuquerque was the same
Kevin and I really felt it last week in Albuquerque. Just the air is so dry right now.
The altitude in Albuquerque, they're over a mile high where we were staying. And I didn't really think about it till I would go to get dressed, take a shower, just do different things that were very minor activities, if you call them activities. And I'd be trying to catch my breath. I was walking and talking with a pastor, and I'm like, okay, walking and talking is difficult at this elevation. So
yes, it was interesting. And you don't really think about it. You think about once you get, past Texas, that it's just going to be all desert. And it's been super crazy because, so our route over from Albuquerque to Phoenix took us I-40. Yes. I-40 over to Flagstaff.
She was sleeping.
I wasn't sleeping. I probably took a nap, but over to Flagstaff. But it's crazy because you get to Flagstaff, Arizona, and there's still snow everywhere.
There's Humphreys Peak. I didn't know what that was, but I looked it up because I saw it from 80 miles away. I see this huge mountain covered in snow, and we basically just tracked straight towards it. And when we got close, we took a left. So.
Yeah, it was crazy and interesting. There's even mounds of snow on the ground still that were melting. Are we freezing up for anybody else? Let us know if we keep freezing up, and we can come off of the Wi-Fi here if we need to. But anyway, so mounds of snow, and then we drove an hour and a half south, and it's going to be in the 90s all week this week.
Yeah, and whoever the engineer is in charge of roads coming out of Flagstaff going south on 17,
they need to be.
They probably are already fired, but if they're not, they should be. So,
this is going to be are you going to go off Wi-Fi? I think we got to. Oh, Matthew said that's why he came over. Okay, let us come off of Wi-Fi. Okay, there we go.
All right.
We're popping onto a 5G cell signal instead.
Hopefully that will Sorry about that.
Okay, maybe that'll help. Let us know. Somebody give us a thumbs up if that works and goes a little bit better, because now we're just on a regular cell signal. But anyway, one of the interesting things that happened last week that we watched in Albuquerque was our, you did make it in real time, friend. Welcome. And hello, Jared. We did have a great week in Albuquerque. We were just talking about all of our Albuquerque-ness.
So on Instagram, we just had Jerry Bridge that commented,
Yes.
and he commented on a video we posted last week, and I was able to track him down and find out where he was. And he is actually the pastor of Anchor Church in Albuquerque. Been a plant for, I think it was 11 years now, and they are going strong, doing well. He also serves as the church-based church planting catalyst for, I believe it's Albuquerque, it may be all of New Mexico. But he is in charge of recruiting and training church planters there in the city. So he was a great contact, and I was able to have lunch with he and his church planting resident, and also his worship pastor, who is currently working on all the paperwork to get his visa to be able to be here. He is actually from the Philippines, but he is here. His wife's a teacher. He is a worship leader there at the church. And so pray for him as he seeks to get his visa so that he can be here more long term. And I believe I'm saying his name right. It's Jair. And so pray for him as he goes through that process.
Yes, so we had a great week in Albuquerque. Lots of what started out as what we thought was going to be a little bit slower week ended up being busier by the minute, which we loved, and so we got to connect with a lot of people. Another family that we got to connect with was Chad and Chad Spriggs and his family. He works for the North American Mission Board as a regional trainer.
He is in charge of all the training and assessment, basically from New Mexico up through Canada and west. So as you can imagine, that's a huge area.
Yeah.
And so he has a huge responsibility. The assessment is such an important process that all of the planters go through as they are preparing to plant.
That's kind of their initial kind of first step in their process, as far as getting to a place and getting on the ground. And so Chad heads that up for this region, but and it was great to meet Chad. But the girls and I loved the fact that we could also connect with his family, his wife and teenage daughter and 2 boys, and so we thoroughly enjoyed a wonderful place that they picked for dinner.
It was funny. We were all standing around talking after dinner. We're outside, and the 2 boys are like sitting at a picnic table, and Chad looks over at his boys and says, "Now you know how your sister feels all the time," because evidently a lot of the families they hang out with are all boys. And so she was getting a chance to connect with some girls, and our girls loved that as well as she did. So
yes, it was a lot of fun to get to connect with them. So anyway, and then we got to celebrate Easter while we were in Albuquerque too.
Yeah, so we came to you last week in the truck. We were headed to dinner after 4:30 Easter service. And
where we figured out that we accidentally went on Facebook. We accidentally went live on Kevin's personal page.
Yeah, I was on my personal page.
Which is why his mom couldn't find us. Our apologies.
Thank you for watching tonight, even though I messed up last week.
So we said, well, we were live. We don't know why you couldn't find us. And then we went to try to go find the video, and we couldn't find it either. And that was why.
Yep. So anyway. But that church, we were able to, that was Restore Church, and Justin Pearson is the pastor there, and we connected with him prior to going to church, and then after church, Casey and his wife connected and got an evening on the books, and so we were able to actually go and drop the girls off, and
with Chick-fil-A.
With Chick-fil-A, they have 3 boys,
3 little boys,
and so we were able to drop off Chick-fil-A, and our 4 girls, they hung out with the 3 boys. And we took Justin and his wife to dinner. We had a great time connecting with them, getting to know them. And then she had made brownies, so we went back to their house. Yep. And all of us had brownies and ice cream together and got to spend a little bit of time with their family. Really great story. He is from Albuquerque and born and raised, and God kind of brought his circle back there to Albuquerque, and so he's planting there and doing a great job, and so that was a lot of fun. And then I also got to have lunch that week with a gentleman, Thomas Culp, K-U-L-P, Culp, and so he and I got to hang out, have lunch together. I got to hear his story He had moved here from Pennsylvania and planted, actually was working at another church and then felt led to plant and start the congregation that he's leading now. So that was a lot of fun. And then, you know me, I love golf, right?
Well, this was kind of a last minute addition too. So one of the things that was happening at our RV park that was interesting this week is they were setting up a set for a movie. So they were they start tomorrow filming a movie at that RV park. It was super fun to watch. But as we went throughout the week, we realized that we didn't arrive to that park until Saturday. Because we had the longer drive day, and it was cheaper when I booked it. It was cheaper to book and get the weekly rate than it was to book for 6 nights. So we actually had this spot until Saturday morning. So we took a quick family vote midway through the week and decided that we would rather do 6 hours all in one day on Saturday than split it up between Friday and Saturday. And that would give us Friday just to kind of an unexpected day, just to kind of have a down day, have some chill time, get some things caught up and done around here.
The girls were looking forward to some downtime, and just that opened up the opportunity for me to add something else on the schedule. And I ended up, Jared, who we were talking about earlier, I reached out to him and said, hey, any chance you could reach out to a few planters and see about getting a few guys together and play top golf on Friday morning? And he was game for that, and reached out to a few guys, and we ended up having a great time getting to hang out with a couple more church planters. One was Matt Flores. He is he is going on 3 years now. Actually 2, I'm sorry. He planted in 2020. So 3 years, yes. I think that's right. Anyway, and then Jeremy Hickman, he's been planted for 7 or 8 years, and has a pretty large congregation. And then what was really exciting, Miguel Castillo, he came and joined us, and he is a Hispanic church planter, speaks a little bit of English, but had never touched a golf club before in his life. And it was amazing. He was really pretty good for having never touched a golf club. But I asked him while we were sitting there, I said, so when did you plant your church? When did you launch? And he said, last Sunday. It was our first gathering. And so it was so exciting to see him just getting started. And so you can pray for Miguel as he is getting started in his church planting journey. Pray that he would be able to get the assessment that I talked about earlier. He needs to get that so that he can begin getting funding and they can continue moving forward. So again, a really busy end of the week. It started out kind of slow, but we have seen this now in every city we've been in, that we are getting more chances to meet with more planners. And we got to meet with a couple of the NAM missionaries, and it's going to be the same here in Phoenix this week. We have a very busy schedule, with the exception right now of Tuesday. I have one guy that I'm waiting to hear back from, and Tuesday is about the only open spot. So we got invited to dinner tomorrow night with a family that was at church today, and we are getting ready as soon as we get off.
I was going to say,
of
we need
live.
to back up and talk when we drove on Saturday.
Yep.
This is actually, okay, so just to remind you, as far as kind of our route goes, the majority of what we've done so far has been all new stuff, new places and new stuff, new people. But starting in Phoenix, so starting this week, this is repeat until we get to Canada, basically. It'll be a repeat where we're going back to places that we have already been. And it's super exciting this time. As we go back to places, it's really cool because what we are seeing is that, you know, the Lord does what we've prayed, then goes before us, and it kind of expands our reach some. And you know, part of that, some of that too, has been an answer to prayer through our partnership, or coming alongside with the North American Mission Board this year, because that gives us some greater access as well. But it's really cool. So this week is kind of a repeat, and that's been neat because we're getting to kind of, you know, like where we went to church today was a guy that Kevin had breakfast with when we were here back in the fall. And so then we got to connect. We're getting to connect with his whole family today. So we went to, yes, so that's where.
So we went to Community Life Church this morning, and we had a great time. They actually had what they called, I believe, all-in weekend, and they were looking to kind of capitalize on all the people that came at Easter. And so they encouraged everyone at Easter to come back this week. And they had a food truck after the service, and then they had different ministry tables set up where people could sign up to volunteer, to serve, to plug into women's ministry, men's ministry. And so
community groups.
It was a really cool event that they had, a great idea, and it was really good food too.
It was a great food truck. They had burgers and chicken. You could choose between like a burger, a chicken tender, a chicken sandwich. They had French fries and drinks. And such a fun idea. Yeah, I think they had a hot dog. Just a fun idea. They meet at a school, and so in a school gymnasium, and so the food truck had pulled right up there, and you walked out. It was just a fun day. So we're actually getting to go in just a minute. When we finish with you, we are going to take off to go meet the pastor and his wife, and their littlest for dinner tonight. So we're getting to connect with Matthew and Tracy tonight and hear more of their story. Yeah, we're getting to do something. Oh, this is funny. So church this morning, we're waiting on our food from the food truck. And I'm talking to this lady, and she says, "Now, where are you from?" And she said, I can hear your drawl. And so I told her that Georgia was home for us. And she said, "I also knew because of your big earrings and your bracelets." I got so tickled. I said, "Well,
Dead giveaway.
There's my dad." I said, "Well, I guess you can't take the Georgia peach out of a girl." And she giggled. She had grown up in Charleston, South Carolina, so that was her connection. But it was sweet. We met this couple, though. You started to say this. We met this couple at church this morning, and they actually invited us over for dinner tomorrow night.
Yeah, so we're gonna go grill out at their house tomorrow night, and then I have, like I said, this week is pretty full. We're actually gonna drive to Tucson on Wednesday and meet a church planner that is in the process of planning, who we met through a mutual friend.
A Georgia connection.
Georgia connection.
He's not from Georgia, but
his son is at Truett McConnell and going to church at North Hall Church with Bucky Kennedy, and he met a guy that was in our wedding, Mike, and Mike said, "Hey, I have a friend that just started a ministry, put us together." We connected over the phone, and so we haven't met in person, but we're going to go hang out with them for the afternoon and then get Sonoran hot dogs for dinner. Never heard of those? Look it up. It looks amazing. I will love it. I don't know what the girls are going to eat, but they'll find something.
We're also getting to do something else interesting on Wednesday when we go to Tucson that we'll be interested to tell you about. We are connecting for the first time. Well, I say the first time. We kind of had an accidental connection when we got here yesterday.
Yeah, that was cool.
But with an RV family that we have that we've gone back and forth with on social media. So this RV family has the same floor plan and model RV as we do. And so there have been several times where we've talked about different idiosyncrasies, or when our heater went out and theirs went out shortly after. And, so we've talked and gone back and forth, and we're actually getting to meet on Wednesday when we're down in Tucson.
Yeah, we're going to have lunch with them. So yesterday we pulled in, and before we got anything out, the RV next door, the lady came running around, "Through the eyes of our tribe." And
it was really awkward. I didn't know what to do.
We're not used to the celebrity. But,
of course, we've been riding all day. So, I mean, y'all see me on Sundays, which is one of the few days that we actually get good and ready. And so we had been riding all day, and she said, "Wait, I know you. You're through the eyes of our tribe." And I was like, "Wow, yeah, we are." So
we connected. We follow each other on social media, but you know how that is. You don't really know everyone, and so it was neat. Looking forward to getting to know them a little bit better this week while we're here as next door neighbors.
Yep. So anyway, that's a big quick. We've already held them 20 minutes. Yeah. We should probably go. But
hey, it was a busy week, and we had a busy update.
Yep, we ran down through a lot of stuff. We are taking off to go have dinner.
Oregano's Pizza Cafe, I think is the name.
The Muellers. So we'll see. Yeah. I hope y'all have a great week next week. What?
The girls were very nervous. Well, two of the girls were very nervous that they were going to pick a Mexican restaurant.
Because let's be honest, everything from Texas and beyond has been Mexican restaurants.
And there's good Mexican in Phoenix, but they chose Italian, and everyone is happy. So
yep. So they're excited. But I hope y'all have a great week next week. Again, we'll look forward to seeing you next Sunday night. We don't know what time it'll be in our world next Sunday night, but for you, it'll still be 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time or 7 Central. I saw Steve and Debbie, so we got some Central Time people. We're not sure
what time. 6 Mountain.
We're not sure what time it'll be in our world, but on Kilgore Standard Time, it'll be whatever. But
same place.
We'll see you same place, same time. Have a good night.
Bye.